Hiya ladies, it's Lori. I am here with a what I wore this month video for May 2016. This month my cycle lasted a total of 8-ish days. I had 2 days of spotting at the beginning and 1 day, 1.5-ish days of spotting at the end. I believe I wore a total of 24 cloth pads, which is quite a lot, but I do change very frequently because I have quite a lot of cloth pads, so I'm not too worried about how many I use during my cycle. I will go through by day as I normally do. I track my cycle, so I'm able to keep notes on what pads I wear and when. So after I wash them, I organize them up and go through them that way because it's the easiest for me. I also wore a handful of interlabial pads. These are ones that I just made myself. And they were mostly worn with the overnight pads, with the exception of one, which I'll let you know what that is. So my cycle started this month while I was out and about on the weekend. So I actually wore this 11-inch cotton-topped flannel-backed pad that normally lives in my on-the-go wet bag. When I got home, I put on this 10-inch Fig Leaves pad. It is a cotton-topped WinPro backed Ultra Fluff. And I wore that for the remainder of the day because I was just spotting. After my shower the next morning, I put on this 12-inch knit-topped WinPro backed Heavy from Lazy Creek Boutique. But as you will know, if you've seen any of my other videos, these pads are thinner than my liners. So even the heavy ones I will wear on a day when I'm spotting because I can't even feel them. So I put that on and I wore it for most of the day. Later on, closer in the afternoon, I felt like changing again. So I put on this watermelon wrap style pad that I made myself. It's 12 inches cotton topped, micro fleece backed. And I picked this one to wear just because it has a lot of coverage over the sides. Ended up wearing it to bed that night. So if I did start my cycle overnight, which I did, I had a lot of coverage just in case I rolled around quite a bit, which I tend to do, and I risk the possibility of leaking over the sides. So the next morning when my cycle finally started after the shower, I put on this gorgeous 14-inch OBV topped WinPro backed pad from Pad Tie Cloth. It's a moderate as denoted by this pink ribbon under the snap. I have to say she now has tags, and these are probably my most favorite tags I have ever had on a cloth pad because they are satin. They're super, super soft and flexible, and they don't feel any different than the pad itself. Like you can't even feel it if you're somebody that doesn't have a thigh gap, which most of us don't, and you don't like tags on your pads. This one, you can't even tell it's there, which is fantastic. I then put on this 14-inch cotton-topped fleece back pad this is one that I made myself. I then wore this 15 or 16. I think this is a 16-inch beautifully dyed custom OBV topper wind block backer from Hoo Hoo Rags. It's a moderate as noted by the red ribbon. And I have to say this is absolutely a gorgeous pad, and it was super comfortable. I chose this one even though it's quite long for day use because it was one of my heaviest days. It was in the evenings and we were lounging around, had some friends over watching movies. So this gave me lots of coverage if I wanted to lay down or whatever while watching the movies. All right, and to bed that night, I did end up getting in finally the the second Alti Max that I purchased from Homestead Emporium. This came in shortly after my cycle last month. It's a beautiful purple and teal dyed OBV topper and a WinPro back. And this one is the size that it said it was in the listing, which is 18 inches. So the other one was supposed to be 17 and this one is was supposed to be 18. This one actually is 18. So that's nice. Maybe I did end up with, an error on this pad. Maybe perhaps I was sent the wrong one. But anyways, I love it. I love them both. They're very, very well made. Very comfortable pads. All right, so the next morning I put on this awesome 14-inch pad from Empire Lush, from Monica at Empire Lush. It's my assault and battery pad, which is So fun. It is a knit topper and microfleece backed, I believe. I then put on another new pad. This is a 12-inch knit topped anti-pill, I think. Anti-pill fleece backed. It's a heavy from Pretty Pads, and I actually really enjoyed wearing this. It was very comfortable to wear. Even though it's quite a large pad, this here doesn't have anything in it. The core is just where you see the stitching. So this is actually really comfortable. It conforms really well to scrundies, which have a wide gusset. So I actually contacted Jamie, who is the owner of Pretty Pads, to see about purchasing a couple more of these because, as I said, I found them very comfortable. And her shop is down right now, but it will be going back up. Although she did mention that she was going to be listing some fabrics on Facebook and that I could place a custom order through Facebook as well. So if you can't find her on Etsy, she's also found on Facebook. And then the next pad that I put on was this 14-inch awesome cotton topper from Eco Owl by Netta, and it is anti-pill backed. And to bed that night, I wore my 15-inch Homestead Emporium OBV topped Wind Pro backed. The next morning, the first pad that I put on was this awesome Sunday pad from Hoo Hoo Rags. It's 13 inches. It's a custom cotton topped mashup pad with wind block on the back. It's a moderate. I love that she is now offering these for custom orders when her customs are open but previously she generally would make these as heavies, and I prefer lighter pads because I change more frequently. This is my first moderate Sunday pad, and I got 2 with this order, and it was so comfy. I really love her new design. The core now goes into the wing, so they used to kind of curl up a bit like this, and sometimes I found if you weren't wearing super tight underwear, they would even kind of do that a little bit in your underwear. But now with her core stitching going all the way out to the edges, as you can see, even right out of the washing machine, it lays flat, which is fantastic. And I really find these pads very, very comfortable, even though they're a shaped pad. So that was great. I then put on this 12-inch Moon and Stars print. Reminds me, it's very Sailor Moony, and it actually matches the key that I have for my house to a T. I don't know if this is a print that they've sold for different uses, but it's actually identical to my house key. And I didn't realize that until recently, even though I've had both of these for a while, which is funny. So it's a 3-star heavy from Yurtcraft, and it is WinPro backed. And I just realized I thought this WinPro was black. It's actually like a super dark blue now that I'm seeing it in the light. The last pad I wore that day was an actual Sailor Moon pad. This is from A Splendid Story. It's a 14-inch moderate. She denotes her absorbency with a little M on the wing here, and it is WinPro backed. The pad that I wore to bed this night was my new 16-inch Mimi's Dreams gumball pad. I love Mimi's Dreams 16-inch pads for overnight. I find they fit me very well. It is, I believe, a heavy / overnight cotton topper and a WinPro back. Sorry, my phone started ringing. The next day was, my period was starting to lighten up. So I put on this 11-inch OBV top pad from Patai Cloth. I think this is absolutely beautiful. OBV. It is WinPro backed, and it's a moderate. And then I tried out for the first time my 10.5-inch cotton topped microfleece backed regular from Empire Lush, and I was worried about these pads when I first got them because they're considerably smaller than what I had ordered, but I ended up wearing this with an interlabial pad and was able to direct the flow into the center of the pad, and that made it work for me. So I was considering whether or not I would be keeping these pads, but I think I will. I just absolutely, they're custom orders, so both the fabrics were ones that I had really wanted. So I hate to get rid of them because they're a little bit too short. So I found a workaround and I will be keeping them, and I absolutely loved this pad. It's very, very comfy. And that's the nice thing about shorter pads, is they tend to be a little bit more comfortable if you are able to wear them. So, all right. The last pad that I wore this day was my 12-inch Cherries and Dots from Annie Bell's Essentials. It's cotton topped and Winpro backed. And I know I haven't been wearing a lot of Annie Bell's in my last few what I wore this month videos. I'm not sure if anybody else is having this problem, but ever since she closed her Etsy shop, and it is closed indefinitely, she's done, I have this weird hoarding tendency towards my Annie Bells. I just don't even want to wear them because I'm worried about wearing them out, because I absolutely love them. They're one of my, she was one of my favorite makers. They fit me so well and they're so comfortable that now I'm worried about wearing them out and not having them, which is ridiculous. I have so many pads that I couldn't wear them out probably, and I've got close to a dozen Annie Bell's Essentials pads, but I'm so hesitant to wear them now. I just kind of want to treasure them because she's gone. But I did wear this one. This is one of my favorites. It's 12 inches, if I didn't say that. Let me know in the comments if you're having a similar reaction with your Annie Bell's pads, because I know that that's been a struggle for me for probably the last 4 or 5 months. I haven't worn them, and I finally this time I was like, I'm wearing this pad. It is summer. It is nice weather. It's cherries. I'm wearing it. So I made myself. And then to bed that night, I wore this 16-inch cotton topped Power Shield Pro backed Yurtcraft pad. I love this pad for overnight. It's a 3-star. It's a heavy. It is Power Shield Pro, so it is kind of, you can hear it, kind of like the scuba gear backed pads, or not the PUL pads because it's a little bit quieter than PUL, but what is it? The free pad from, oh gosh, I can't remember, but it's a very similar material to that. So it's a little loud, but when you wear it to bed, that doesn't matter. The nice thing is they're heavies, but they're, oh my God, they're so ridiculously thin. So they're very, very comfortable to wear to bed. I'd actually probably like to get a couple of more of these Power Shield Pro backs from Yurtcraft to wear to bed. I think that's the only 16-inch Power Shield Pro pad I've got. And then this was really the last day of my period. It was very light. The first pad I put on was my new 12-inch pad from Fig Leaves Pads. I have a lot of Figgies, so I've been trying not to go too overboard with Figgies, even though I love them. But I seen this come up. She has late night stockings. I'm a late night person. I'm normally up working after my daughter goes to bed. I'm a graphic designer, so a lot of computer work once she's in bed. And I seen this one come up and I just could not stop myself. It's Alice in Wonderland, and I just think the print is so quiet and charming. It is a cotton topped, Winpro backed, regular, like a moderate to heavy depending upon your cycle. The next pad I put on, my cycle was really, really lightening up, so I wasn't too worried about this. I don't normally wear this pad very often. It is an 11-inch pad from Novel Red. It is a little bit too thin for me normally. Like you'll see, on this pad, it's a good 3/4 of an inch thinner. Even on a Fig Leaves pad, which tends to be quite narrow, it's a good 1/2 inch thinner. See, like these are perfectly lined up on this side and it's still quite a bit shorter. So I tend to not wear this because I've bled off the side of this before, but on a really light day, they're fine. And I love the print. It's like this beautiful nebula print and it has the glow in the dark snaps. It is cotton topped and I believe Winpro on the back. And then the last pad I wore this day, and I wore this one to bed, was a super comfy OBV top pad from Pad Thai Cloth, and it is Winpro backed. It's a moderate. And then my last day, well, this was really from my last day, but the next day I was worried about spotting, even though I didn't really. I put on this 10-inch cotton top pad. It's flannel backed that I made myself. So that was everything I wore this month. I believe that was a total of 24 cloth pads, if you are keeping count. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, ladies, and I will see you again next time. Bye.